Hello. How are ya? I was just typing hello, everybody in the chat. And I switched times. If you're not one of my members, you wouldn't have heard when I was talking this today, because Arizona doesn't change time. And so we're on Pacific time right now. And I wanted it to still stay at 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And at first I did it at 7, and then I got thinking, that's not right. Because even though everybody's going forward, I actually have to go backwards because now we're on Pacific time instead of Mountain Standard Time. So I switched it this afternoon, and so we'll see who pops in. You know, some people might pop in later and go, hey, I thought her live was right now, but it was already past. But Rebecca is in here. Hello, Rebecca. And Julie is here. She says, I accidentally clicked on the Fridays chat. Teresa, hello, how are you? So, fun. And my brother got here yesterday. So, everybody's over at my mom and dad's house. And my mom says, you're not staying for supper? I said, I have a live stream. I can't stay for supper. I'll come over later when I'm done. So, it's just the way it is. And John is in here, Unpaved Explorer, the man who explores all kinds of very cool places. I hope you're having a good day, John. And Robin is here. Hello, Robin. How are ya? So, my topic for today is, it's March. If you haven't already started your seeds, you're probably starting them this month. Back in Wyoming, we can put some things out at the first part of May, even the back part of April, if the weather's good. But for the most part, it's May 15th till the end of the month. A lot of my friends don't usually put anything out until after Memorial Day weekend. I like to stretch that, you know. Plus, I have things to cover, low tunnels. I have my little greenhouse. So there's a lot of things you can expand when you're planting. But it's a great time to start planting inside. And I am going to grow some giant vegetables this year. And so I did tell everybody, I think it was on a live stream not too long ago. Oh, Tina Ladybug's in. Hi, Tina. I had got some extremely large pumpkin seeds. But look at these babies. Look at how fat they are and how big they are. And I have a few different varieties that I'm going to try it. In each envelope, there's only 2 seeds. And so I'll plant both of them in a container, you know, probably a 6 or 8 inch container, just because when pumpkins start, they grow so fast and they might have to stay in there for a little while, depending on the weather when I'm back in Wyoming. Dana and Andrew are here. Hello, how are ya? Did you get your package, your necklace from me? I hope you did. And everybody's saying hi. I love that. There's something in one of my tomato cells that isn't a tomato. Can't wait to find out what it is. How fun is that? You'll have to send pictures. We'll see what it is. Did you save the seeds, or were they seeds in a packet? Because that would be interesting. Oh, good. They got their package. Good. Roy, hello. Roy Black. Hello. Welcome to the live stream. And we were talking about it's March and it's time to plant, inside or outside. Sandi, it would be great to see you with the record pumpkin. Well, it would be fun. Angie's in. She said she started 12 hot peppers, 12 tomatoes, and 10 loofahs. She sent me a list of all the different varieties. So it's totally exciting. And Doug is in here. Hey, Doug, how are ya? Awesome. Lots of fun friends in here. So what things am I going to grow that are giant, which will mean I want to plant them a little bit early. So as soon as we're back towards the end of April, inside I'll be planting. I have 4 different packets of giant pumpkins. Only 2 seeds in each pack. So the most I could get would be 8 plants, but you never know about seeds. So it might be that, you know, I'll be happy if I get one of each kind of sprout. That, let's just say that way. And if both of them sprout, I'm not going to pull them apart. I'm just going to plant them together, and we'll just watch the plants for a little while and see which one has the most vigor when it's ready. And so that's what I'll do. Excuse me. They were from a packet, probably a pepper or cilantro. She planted tomatoes. Only one of the cells is not a tomato. It can happen. I think all of us have had that happen. And it starts to grow and you're going, yeah, that's not the plant it's supposed to be. So it's interesting. I also started tomatoes and started loofahs for the first time. Awesome. If you've already started planting, let me know. Do you have a price list for vanilla? After watching your video, I started 2 cases with 6 different liqueurs. How fun. We're retired, so I don't do the markets anymore. So I don't sell the vanilla. I just give it away to friends and family. But the price, from when we started to do vanilla at the markets and now, big price hike, And so it's hard to say what the going rate is. I guess I would Google homemade vanilla for sale by me and just see what kind of prices that they're doing. Henry Leslie Vermont, hello. How are you guys? And Barb is here. She's saying, hi, Sandy, in the chat. I'm cooking dinner. What are you having for dinner? You should let us know, because maybe we will stop over and all of us will have supper with you. The vegetables behind you are from my garden down here in Arizona. You can see beets. You can see some tomatoes right there, but now the tomatoes are much bigger than that. And then, of course, some different kinds of lettuce right there. The beets were amazing. And we roasted them on the grill. You toss them in, you slice them, toss them in olive oil. And we didn't peel them. We did cut the tops and the bottoms off. They were just amazing. And then some of them got a little bit too done. And they were like chips, like beet chips. And I thought, now that is a good idea. Because you could dehydrate or you could cook them in your oven to make chips. And they were extremely good. And, see, Barb's making some good dinner. Tina says that she's started a couple tomatoes, pepper, cilantro, squash on her patio. Awesome. John says record squash is 2,702 pounds in 2021. Sandy can squash the squash record. Well, on my packets, it tells you the parentage of what it's crossed with, and it tells you how much weight those tomatoes or those pumpkins were. So the highest one was 2,350. So it was a big pumpkin. And then they're crossed with other ones. And so that's always kind of interesting, I think. But the other things that I'm growing giant-wise is I got some extra large Belgium tomatoes. And so I'm going to sprout those, but I won't sprout them till actually I get home, because I'm already bringing so many things home. I got all my apple trees that I'm working on. I got my garlic that I'm working on. There's only so much room in the truck to bring stuff home. And Doug is leaving us. Doug, good night. Please tell Shelly I said hi. And if you haven't checked out Doug at His Way Homestead or his wife Shelly at Healthy Homestead Chick, please do. You will love their channels. Seriously love their channels. And there's so many great channels in the chat tonight. So make sure that you check them all out too. And the other one is I got some seeds from Alaska that are supposed to be giant cabbages. Now, I have seen pictures of cabbages in Alaska. Now, granted, they get so much sun. because of, just the way the earth is. And in the summertime, it's just like sun, I don't know, 20 hours a day, 24 hours a day. And so but I'm going to try it and see how they do. So I will start the pumpkins, the tomatoes, and cabbages right when I get home. Angie says I should have a U-Haul. I've talked to Joe about U-Hauls many times, but I don't think it's going to happen. Thanks for telling me how to Google the price for vanilla. Wow, it's $43 a pint. See, it's crazy prices right now. And the other thing you have to figure on is, now the vanilla takes a while to become vanilla, right? A good, strong flavor. And what's the price going to be when it's completely finished? And so don't be too quick to tell people what the price will be, because what if you have months left? I mean, I always have mine. I use less vanilla beans, but it takes a lot longer, about 2 years, 18 months to 2 years. Now, you can make vanilla with a lot more beans much faster, because, I have that one bottle that I put 25 beans in, and I just put it in the liquor bottle. And after 3 months, it was smelling good. But now that it's almost a year, it is just, the flavor is just amazing. And it like melds the flavors. It's not just vanilla. If you just wait for a little bit, and it's like, oh, it's got these tones in there too, and it's just fabulous. And so, things to do, things to decide. Just don't price yourself early when it may have to be higher than that, because you never know how much you're going to pay. Now look at here. I got some more scions. I did my video the other day, and I was grafting. These ones are every single one of these are called red flesh apples, which means it's not only going to be red, or some type of red on the outside, maybe yellow and red, red and green. The inside is going to be colored too. Now, most apples that you buy in the store, it's either white, it's cream colored, or it's kind of yellowish inside. Those are just different types of apples. But red fleshed apples go from pink to just bright red inside. It depends on the type of apple it is. And the redder it gets, the more it has mixed flavors, like almost like candy. Like you might have an apple that has tones of strawberry and pineapple in it. And the leaves are really spectacular. And so I'm going to cut these in half, because they're plenty long. I actually could probably cut them in thirds, and they would still be fine. I'll look at that, because I want a lot of red flesh apples. And so it's going to be interesting. Oh, Roy says he's doing it for the 2 years. That's what, you just kind of get in a swing, and, like every 6 months, you're doing a few more. So eventually, when it finally starts happening, you just have lots and lots of bottles of vanilla, especially if you're going to sell them. And so I'll graft the rest of these this week. But there's not, like, I can honestly say I have never been in a nursery where I could buy one of those types of apples. Now, maybe in different parts of the country you can, but in Wyoming, I have never seen it where I can buy an apple that the flesh is pink to red. So it's interesting, and they're very hardy. And so why do we not grow more apples like that? So one of my goals, is to use my nursery license that I have back in Wyoming and really show people the different variety of apple trees that you can have. And so that's just part of my thing. Now, I will, of course, grow peppers. We always grow peppers. But what is a type of vegetable or fruit you're going to grow this year that you've never grown before? I always like to try to do something that I haven't ever done before. Sometimes people will send you seeds. Sometimes you'll be going through a catalog, and it's like, oh, I haven't heard of this before. Um, I had gotten some pea seeds from some master gardeners down here, and the plants spectacular, really strong and tall, beautiful flowers, and it's finally making the peas on there. Now they're not sugar peas, so you can't eat the outside, but the inside of them, oh my gosh, so good. And so I know I should be saving them, but every time I'm in the garden, I'm opening them up and I'm eating the peas inside. I don't know how many will actually end up in my kitchen. But like I don't grow like green beans or yellow beans. I like them. I would just rather grow beans that were for soup. There's some fun, crazy colors that you can get. And I like beans added to soup in the wintertime. Actually, I like beans added to soup anytime. And so it's just a choice, and I can easily at the farmers markets get green beans or yellow beans at a good price. And so I would rather do that. But that's not the case for some people. That's what they like. Barb says that she needs some fruit trees. I have one avocado and one papaya tree. Now, I have an avocado, but I don't have a papaya tree. And so Joel's kind of leaning towards a pistachio tree. They are big though, and my lot is X amount of square feet, right? Not that I couldn't prune it to keep it a certain size, because trees you can prune. Angie is growing tobacco plants. I read they repel insects. They do, and they are beautiful plants. I have found them to be sometimes, some varieties, a little tricky to get them to germinate. But if you can get them to germinate, oh my gosh, are they a beautiful plant. And the flowers you can get in a lot of different colors. And insects don't like them. And so they're great to put different places in your flower beds or in your gardens so that you can really naturally battle some of those insects. Barb says, my peach seeds are in the refrigerator until fall. Yes, see, you can make your own tree. My video the other day was make an apple tree, because I have the scions, the top part, and I have the rootstock. And I think by the time I get to Wyoming, I'm going to have a lot of trees. So they're just in 5-gallon buckets now, because they are perfectly fine like that until I get back. And there are a few that are just starting to bud out the leaves, which I was surprised at them doing it that early. So that was interesting. Oh, look at there. I'm going to try bear paw popcorn this year for something new. Oh, I hadn't heard of that before. You're going to have to let us know how it is. Awesome. Oh, I missed one. I would love a pistachio tree. I have pecan trees. See, I'd love a pecan tree too, but they are just so massive, and I have X amount of space. But I would like one, because fresh pistachio or fresh pecans, because we get them from our friend Katie and her husband over in New Mexico. Amazing, just so amazing. And Barb says, I have magic peach, I think, seeds. I have magic peach have magic peach seeds. I have peaches growing in Wyoming. People told me I couldn't grow peaches, which if they can grow peaches in parts of Canada, of course you can grow, if you have the right kind in the right spot in your yard, you can grow them in Wyoming. So I'm excited about that. John's planted yarrow around his porch for mosquitoes. I totally believe that yarrow works great for mosquitoes. And the interesting thing about yarrow, if you could only grow one herb, they always say to grow yarrow, because between the plant, the roots, the flowers, so great medically. And What I have found though, they're very easy to cross pollinate. So you might have a clump of yellow or white or red, um, different places. Well, they cross pollinate so easily with the bees, and then the seeds drop, and pretty soon you have yarrow that's coming up that isn't the same color. Sometimes it's more muted, but every once in a while you get a spectacular one, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. And they're a nice looking, plant. It's very ferny like, and I really like it. Oh, Barb's clarifying. Magic peach seeds. I like it. They say that lemon balm plants help with bugs too. I think that's true. Yeah. Herbs are just an amazing thing. And I think everybody should have herb gardens. Now, if you're not going to have a specific separate herb garden, plant them in your flower beds, plant some in your vegetable gardens, plant some in pots, because like an herb like mint can be very aggressive, and it can really go a lot of places. And you can easily get seeds at not a bad price everywhere, or somebody will dig up some of their plant and give it to you. So because they spread so much, a lot of times, anything in the mint family. Now, I say that, and you might go, well, how do I know if it's in the mint family? In the mint family, with a rare couple exceptions, the stems are square. So it's not rounded. So if you feel it and it's very square, which can be surprising if people haven't noticed that, it's in the mint family. But they are aggressive. So a lot of times people either grow them in big pots, or they literally dig a hole and set the pot in the soil, which can help. Marigolds help keep bugs away as well. That's true. Yeah. And there are some beautiful marigolds anymore. Do you know that you can now get marigolds that are completely white? And I mean, the same shape, but they're completely white. And I find that interesting. And when you're mixing in, doing a big pot up, it can be really interesting in that pot with the white ones. Not that the yellow or the orange ones aren't bad, but it's interesting. Angie says, I found any and all herbs help repel insects. True, 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 true. It's really amazing. Now, I told you that I was doing garlic. Now, before we left, I did a video and I showed you my whole process of when I'm doing garlic, what I do, how I soak it. I showed where I planted it in the ground. Well, we were leaving, and there was still some garlic that hadn't got here. And so it's like, you have to tell the company, you got to mail it down to Arizona because I am gone. I think one of the packages got forwarded, but the other one just, they sent it to me. And so they have been in my refrigerator, in the crisper, in the brown bags all winter long, because I grow hardneck garlic, and you have to fool the hardneck garlic into thinking it has been winter. And so they were in the crisper. I didn't want to freeze them solid, though my ground gets frozen solid. But one, I don't have room in my freezer. Two, you have to have a lot of soil around it for insulation, and there was just not room for that. Angie says, only put mint family plants in pots. We had mint take over our front garden in Salt Lake City. It was even coming up through our sidewalks. Yeah, it can be crazy. Roy says they have a huge garlic patch. Me too. You can't have enough garlic. Anyway, so I put them in the fridge since October. Well, actually, I probably got them the very first week in November when they finally got down here. But now my green screen's making it disappear, but you can kind of see where those invisible things are. See? I don't think if I put my finger there. See how that is? Anyway, they're coming up through the pot. And so my daughter Grace wants a few of them. And I'm sure any of the extra ones I will be able to give away. But it's exciting when they start to come up. And probably by the time we leave, they'll probably be, I don't know, 8 or 10 inches tall. but I'll still be able to just take them out. If it looks like they're really got a lot of roots in there, I'll probably just cut my little trays because they're disposable. And so I'll just cut them and throw them away. Oh, look who is here. It's the Bunky girl. Hi, Bunky. How are you? How's your garden growing? What are you putting in growing early in your garden? Well, not outside, just inside under your lights. Daddy used mint in between the grapes, and it smells so nice when he cuts the grass in between. Oh, yeah, mint is fabulous. Back home in Wyoming, I have regular mint, spearmint. I have peppermint. I have apple mint, and I have orange mint. And I love them all. They're just amazing. And I can make teas from them. That's what I like about them. And I just find them so, it's one of those herbs that you rub against it, you bump against it, and it's just like the aromas is just amazing. And it's like, oh yeah, I like this. Mint grows wild here in Vermont. That is interesting. Though when we go up in the hills, sometimes we find wild mint sometimes. And, I'm always looking for, is that stem square. So I know it's in the mint family. And there's like wild balms, lemon balms up there. There's bergamots up there. And so it's interesting. And more than likely, because like the places we like to hike, they used to mine up there, and I would guess that probably people lived up there because it's a ways away from anything. And they probably had those plants that they just put in the ground. And these are just remnants of those original plants, which is kind of interesting. Kind of fun. That's for sure. Now, I should tell you that Bunky, she is part of the Vineyard Chicks. They do have a live stream at Bunky. Will it be in an hour and a half? Because Arizona doesn't change their time. And so it always messes with me. And it takes me a little while to figure out when I'm supposed to be having my live stream. So they end up being the same time for everybody. Because at first, Bunky, I put it at 7. And then I thought, no, then I'm interrupted in the Vineyard Chicks. So then I needed to go the other way because I'm always usually Mountain Standard Time, but I needed to be Pacific Time. So it's crazy. Bunky says theirs is in 30 minutes. Okay, so we're okay because I don't want to interrupt the Vineyard Chicks. Oh, Bunky, you're the best. I always tell Bunky she's my superhero. She's this young girl. She's got videos. She's growing things. She's got her emus. She's doing all this stuff, and I'm just amazed. Could have I done that when I was her age? I don't know. I mean, we didn't have the technology then. But could have I? Would have I? I don't know. But it's like, you go, girl. It's amazing. Yeah, so other things that I'm going to grow this year. Now, I'm really going to concentrate on my established garden beds that I have. We have some friends that have an arena, I guess you would call it. They train horses out there, and you can stable your horse out there. And they're very particular what they feed the horses. So like the hay, it doesn't have weed seeds in it. And so they have piles and piles of compost. Sorry, that was my phone. Piles and piles of compost that are aged and aged and aged. And so I'm going to get a bunch of that from them. And John says, Bunky versus Sandi for the biggest tomato. Yes, I like it. We could do that with a whole bunch of people because maybe we have to pick a specific tomato to make it more fair for everybody. But that would be a fun competition, and we'd have to give it by a certain date, and we'd have to weigh them. It would be fun. What do you think, Bunky? I have spearmint, but haven't been able to find peppermint seeds. When I get home, I will look and see if I have some peppermint seeds in my drawers. Otherwise, I'll let some of mine go to seed and I'll send it to you for next year. You might try baker seeds though. They might have them because they've had them before. Angie likes mortgage lifters. Mortgage lifters is a great tomato. It's very prolific. It really actually saved some farmers. They were having an issue with tomatoes and viruses and stuff like that, and mortgage lifters, they often say, save the mortgage on a farm. And so that's kind of interesting. Bunky says, I don't think I can grow as big as Miss Sandi. She had a giant tomato last year. Yeah, but Bunky, if we had the same kind of seeds, you know what I should do? I should go on and I should buy some really big seeds. And then I will just throw it out there. And anybody who wants to try it can be in the competition. What do you guys think about that? That's right. Bunky had the biggest Peter pepper ever. Bunky and peppers, I tell you, it's good. Yes, Tracy, you're welcome. I will. I'll write it in my little notebook. Actually, I got my notebook right here, and because if I don't have any, I'll just let them go to seed, and then I will have some. So, and my peppermint is in a different spot than my spearmint, my orange, or my apple, because otherwise you could get some cross-pollination, I would guess, because they are in all the same family. And though some of them flower at different times, and so that kind of protects different herbs, you know, when you have different varieties of that same herb, because a lot of times it will be a little bit different. Bunky says, I planted my pepper early though. And that's kind of a key for, you know, like up in the north part, when you're not planting in the ground until mid-May or the end of May, first part of June, you want that soil to be warm. And that is a key. So you can start your plants early. And then, you know, if you put them in too early, it kind of can stunt the growth of your plants. And so why not really be a little patient? I know it's hard. Even if you have to repot that into a bigger pot for a little bit. Because if the ground is cold, it just won't grow as well. Now, that said, you can do some tricks. Like you could make a low tunnel over that space. And so the heat from the sun would heat that up. And you could plant your plants and leave the low tunnel on there until the nights were a little bit warmer. And another key is you don't want to mulch too early. Because if you mulch too early and say 4 inches down, the soil was probably 50 degrees still. And you do a thick layer of mulch, that soil is always going to be cold down there. So when those roots hit that, it can stunt what you get from the plant, how much fruit or vegetables you get from the plant. So it's just one of those things. So I usually don't mulch anymore until about the middle of June, just because I want that soil as warm as possible, you know, and I would rather have to water more often because there's no mulch than have the soil 4 or 6 inches down too cold. So, and you can get a temperature probe and just stick it down into the soil and it'll tell you the temperature. An easy way to do is just dig a shovel and then feel it also. If it still feels cold and damp, you don't want to put mulch on it. You want the sun to warm it up. Angie had so much snow. Won't be planting until, she says just, but probably June. And Bunky's agreeing. But you should have seen those pictures I got from Angie from Bob and Linda's house. I mean, the snow was way up here. And it's like, oh yeah, that's bad. Oh, he's saying she won't plant until July. She'll be surprised. Because in North Dakota, I mean, the sun stays up longer than it does in Wyoming. And yeah, she does have feet of snow. Feet of snow. But it's amazing once it starts to decide it's going to be springtime, what you can do. Now, Joe has, you know, I got my beets back here. Now, Joe only likes beets if they're pickled until we cooked them on the grill with some olive oil. Then it was a whole different ballgame. And he's going, man, I like these. But I think the heat from them, from the grill, made them a little sweeter than they would have been otherwise. And, it's not very thick that you're cutting. And they were just amazing. But we grilled all kinds of vegetables out of my garden. Pak choy, onions, beets, broccolis, cauliflowers, just all kinds of stuff. And it was amazing. It snowed today in Cleveland. Barb says no snow in Texas, though Texas has had snow this winter. We don't get snow in our part of Arizona. There's a lot of places in Arizona you do. But about 2 weeks ago, one night it didn't freeze, but it was like 35 degrees. And my banana tree did not like it. And so that one section of bananas that I had all wrapped, which I had for the longest time, they just turned black. Where the other two things of bananas, they're still fine. And so I don't know if it was because they were a little bit more hanging down, not as guarded with the leaves. That's my only thing I would think of. So, got some beet seeds. Yes. Beets on the grill with habanero honey. We did sprinkle your habanero honey onto all those vegetables, so it was really good. But I better let you guys go. I got to go back over to my parents because my brother and his wife and my niece and her boyfriend are over there. And so I told them I had to go do my live stream and then I would be back over. But it is so much fun having family down here. Hint, hint, Angie. Oh, but the doors are always open, just so you guys know. Okay, so I'm going to let you go. I hope you have a great day. Friday, I will be a live stream with Nana, late night with Nana. And so you can always come join us then, and a few videos during the week. I will tell them that you said hello. I will tell Mama about the honey habanero on beets. We love beets. Oh, so good. It is amazing. So everybody, I'm going to let you go. Have a great night, and I will see you next time.